Welcome to Feeling Asian, a podcast where two Asians talk about their feelings. I'm Youngmi Mayer.
And I'm Brian Park. And Youngmi, before we get into our Patreon shoutouts, we did our first live show last week.
Woo! I am just so overwhelmed. I feel like I'm coming down off a high.
That was so
also, I'm high.
sick.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, it was so sick. I had so much fun.
I know, it was so great. And honestly, I think it was it was just so cool to be there because I think it was the first time we were like with people who listened to the pod. Like we had an idea or conception of who our listeners were, but just to be able to like share the good vibes with everyone in a single room was like probably one of the best experiences I've had to date here in New York City.
It felt so beautiful. You know, after this last year, we've talked about this a lot on this podcast. It's been really hard. It's been really emotional and really hard for Asian people in particular. But just seeing, you know, a bunch of Asian people and like, I felt honored that I'm getting emotional already. I felt kind of honored that like I was doing that for, you know, our community, you know, because it was a show, and plus the show wasn't really about us. It was just games where we invited the audience up with our comedian friends.
Right.
So yeah, it felt really good. It felt like we were, you know, just like celebrating each other.
Oh.
Anyway.
Well, thank you to everyone who came to the first show. And if you missed it and you're kind of curious what it's all about, come to our next show, September 16th. Tickets are on sale at the link in bio. Woo!
Woo!
And now I'm ashamed for self-promoting our live show. Anyways,
I cried. I cried. Do it. So Brian's ashamed and I'm crying. So let's start our show.
Great. Perfect. Well, before we introduce our wonderful guests, we want to do some Patreon shout-outs up top. Listeners, if you like the podcast, please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/feelingasian. Check it out. Youngmi and I offer different exclusive benefits, but any donation amount gets you a shout out on the podcast where we guess who you are based on your name alone.
Yeah. And it's never offensive and people love it.
Are you ready for our first shout out?
Yeah. Yep.
Our first shout out for this episode goes out to Sarah Sargan or Sarjan. Sarah Sargan.
I feel like Sarjan is an Asian name. I just don't know.
Sarah
you
Sarjan.
Know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm getting
like,
teacher vibe.
Teacher vibe?
Yeah.
Teacher vibe, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see like calm, lawful hair. I always see hair. Like a long ponytail, you know? Like
calm,
art
lawful
teacher.
Hair. Ooh,
right?
I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Muted
art
colors. Teacher. Tasteful. Yeah. Right?
Oh yeah. And she's that teacher who is teaching the high school kids what's actually cool and trying to teach them to be cool, but the high school kids are just too naive to appreciate what Sarah's dishing out. And then exactly. It won't be until years later they'll be like, oh, damn. Miss Sarah, she knew what the hell she was talking about.
Miss Sarjan was cool.
Miss Sarjan was the fucking shit.
She shows up wearing like Margiela shoes and they're like, what kind of shoes are that? Like they think Supreme is cool or something. And she's like, it's Margiela, okay? Toby.
Or if the students are talking about smoking pot, she's like, hey, word of advice, smoke the pot, but don't talk about it so loudly. Just be quietly lit. Just be a pothead, but in private. That's what's cool. Exactly. Damn. Miss Sarjan doing the work. Sarah, thank you for donating to the podcast. Our next shout out goes out to Angela O.
Oh, I just love that last name O. It's so like, it's so cute and like dramatic. I wish my last name was O. My last name is. It's like artsy, you know. It's like a vowel name. You know, like that's why I named Mino because it's so like I like the vowely roundness of it. You know. Okay.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to tap into my psychic vibes here. I'm seeing a bowl cut. Wow, very strong. It came to me. Bowl cut. Angela O. Bowl cut. Bowl cut.
Bowl cut.
It's the strongest psychic sense I ever got in my life.
Wow. Okay. I'm getting Angela O is an e-girl.
With the bowl cut.
And really big onto TikTok.
Dude, what if you were an e-girl and did all the e-girl makeup and like dressed like that and had a bowl cut? That would be cool. Have you ever seen that? No.
I haven't seen it, but I think Angela's out there doing the work.
I think so too. Big on TikTok.
Angela O, big on TikTok, big e-girl energy. She makes TikToks that reveal the coolest spots in Los Angeles, and I haven't heard of any of them. That's who Angela O is.
Yes.
When I haven't heard of it, that's when you know it's cool.
If the rule is, if Brian has heard of it, it's no longer cool. It's
no longer cool. That is the rule.
Yep, that's the rule. Thanks for the money, Angela.
Our last shout out for this episode goes out to Mia Chung.
Mia, wow, another sexy name, Mia. I'm so jealous of these vowely names. What if your name is Mia O? Damn. Hot.
Mia Chung is...
Oh, Mia.
Mia is such a strong name.
I know. Mia.
Fuck. I want to be named Mia.
I know. It's a name that everyone falls in love with. You know that TikTok where they're like, oh, they were making fun of people that had bad names like for sex? And they'd be like, this guy was like, haha, imagine if somebody had to like yell out the name Herbert or something. And this guy was like, my name is Freedom. But Mia's like the opposite. Mia's like
opposite of that.
Opposite. It's the sexiest name. It's a
super
sex
sexy name. Mia Chung. I feel like I'm getting so much power from this name. Works in corporate America, but is like a president of some company is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It
does. Yeah, it has that vibe to it.
Like, and then when she's
on a billboard.
Goes to dinner, she's on a billboard. She gives you her business card, and when you grab it, you're like, oh damn, this business card is heavy.
It's made of metal. Yeah, it's made of metal.
Wow. Okay. So Mia Chung, metal business card, president of a big corporation, and listens to this podcast in her glass corner office, and she can flip a switch where the glass kind of like changes color.
Gets opaque.
It becomes opaque.
She swirls her like what's a fancy? I said, what was it? I don't know. What do people drink? What do rich people drink in their offices? Sprout, whiskey, scotch, rye. I don't know.
The whiskey with the big circle ice cube in it.
Yeah. Looking out the window, over Manhattan. Yeah, for sure.
This city is mine.
A little bit of we're adding a little bit of villain touch on Mia for some reason. That's okay.
In the most endearing way, because villains are interesting and add flavor to the world.
I always identify with the villain, so.
Oh yeah, I identify with Slytherin in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, in any case, thank you for your donations, everyone. And once again, you can do so at patreon.com/feelingasian and get tickets to our live show September 16th before they sell out.
Caveat.nyc.
And Youngmi, now that we have our Patreon shout-outs out of the way, I think it's time to introduce our wonderful guest this week.
I'm so excited, and I think the fans who are watching on YouTube are going to really be excited because this person is not wearing a shirt.
A feeling Asian first. You gotta love it. Listeners, our guest this week is an incredibly talented chef and owner of the restaurant Flipsiggy. Everyone, please give your ears to Jordan Andino.
Whoop, whoop. What up, y'all?
Hi, Jordan.
What's up?
Hi. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you for joining us. And so, as you know, on our podcast, right up top, we like to ask each other how we feel.
Yeah.
And today, I wanna start by asking Brian, how do you feel?
All right. Youngmi usually goes first, and I thought it was unusual that she was prompting the question, and this is why. Honestly, life is good right now. I'm feeling just very happy and really positive. I feel like that's more rare, especially in this past year. But yeah, Youngmi, and I just feel really happy. You know, there's a lot to be proud of. Last week we did our first ever sold out live podcast show, and it's insane. It's so cool. Yeah, it was like an incredible amount of hard work and planning that went into it, but just to be able to see all of our listeners and be able to laugh with them like together and just be unapologetically Asian in one room was just a fucking awesome and rewarding feeling. And I mean, yeah, this week has just been great. You know, I've been riding off that high of our first live show, and I've been catching up with old friends, and you know, I'm in a relationship now, and things are good. A lot to be happy about. No complaints.
Brian's
That's how I'm
life
feeling.
is now excruciatingly boring.
How are you?
How are you gonna do comedy anymore, Brian? Do you retire?
Oh, you know, I don't know. It's well, let's let this last another week, and then I might blow up everything because comedy comes first, right?
Wow, you're gonna sabotage your own life.
It's
It's too good.
no,
I
actually,
don't know. That was you like punching a hole in the wall or something. I don't know what that was.
But yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So basically what I meant to say is I'm happy, but my life is excruciatingly boring now, listeners. So focus your attention to our wonderful guests and Youngmi Mayer's life.
Oh, my chaos. I was going to say, so Jordan, we usually get so depressed and sad on this podcast. Like, we're always like, I have childhood trauma. And so I was like, this week I was like, oh, I'm in a good mood. And I was like, well, at least Brian will be depressed. And then Brian's like, I'm happy. Everything is going great. I'm in a relationship. And I was just sitting here like, oh, no.
Well,
This is not who we
Youngmi, well, it's time. Let's see if those words are true. How are you feeling, Youngmi?
Okay, so honestly, I am like in a good mood. Everything seems to be going well, but I have to say about the show, I didn't realize how exhausted like I was, because, you know,
Okay.
we had to do a lot of work for a live show, and
Yeah.
you know, it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So I wasn't noticing like how much I was working, I think. Sorry, I just realized the air conditioner's on. And so afterward, I sort of like crashed, and then I was like, I'm so tired. You know, I was like, I'm so like, and you know, we talked about this before. In this modern world, I feel like there is no weekend anymore. It's like every day I'm doing a little bit of work. You know, there's
Right.
never a day where I'm just like, no work today. And I feel like a lot of people I know that live, you know, like in New York, I'm sure everywhere now because of the internet and stuff, like they've said that, and that's like kind of hard. It's like never ending work, even though it's work that I like doing. But I'm really happy, and I feel like I'm in a good mood, and I'm so upset because I thought we were gonna be all dark and like, and, you know, get really like deep into why like I have nothing. What was it? Devastatingly boring. What are we, Brian?
We are excruciatingly boring.
Excruciatingly.
Ugh.
Oh
I quit
gosh,
comedy.
Jordan, we
Yes, I feel good.
apologize. You're like, why the? I didn't sign up for this shit.
So positive. Ew.
Ew. Who wants to listen to a podcast about positivity?
Yeah, it's a bit much. It's a little gagging, but it's okay. I'll keep it going. I'll keep it going. Do you want me to be really like undecidingly just depressed, or how do you want me to be, so we can balance out the positivity here?
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
be angry. I can be angry.
Yeah, feeling Asian first. We get to choose how the guest feels. Jordan, Jordan, how do you feel? But make it angry.
Well, so the problem is I always feel happy, and it's not like as like a mask or facade that I'm trying to cover up. I just legitimately, I'm a happy person. I am a half or glass is basically full is how I look at a glass, regardless of how much water is in it. And it's it's got me pretty far in life. But right now I'm feeling busy. I think that's a better way to describe how I am. I'm feeling very, very busy, but happy.
Oh my
Happily busy.
gosh.
Wow.
We're
See,
all happy.
listeners, if you aren't watching our YouTube, Jordan has the most radiant smile that just, it's so genuinely happy. And when Youngmi and I smile, there's some pain behind the smile. Whereas
Something's going on.
oh my gosh. Damn. You know what? You know what I think it is, Youngmi? The reason why we
What?
are so positive and happy right now is because Jordan's positivity is contagious. We are
Threatening.
it's palpable, it's threatening. But Jordan, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast in spite of your super crazy hectic schedule. And that actually leads me to my first question, and that is, you're just a really busy dude. Like, you have a restaurant, you're basically like an on-screen talent now. You do numerous hosting appearances on like Food Network shows, and what I want to know, and I think what our listeners would like to know, is in spite of this crazy schedule, how do you maintain and sustain your positivity? How do you stay so happy all the time?
So that's actually a really good question. I think I stay positive because I constantly am reminding myself of where I came from. And where I came from, although I came from, overwhelmingly a loved family that, took care of me and fed me and nourished me and nurtured me. I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a point of privilege or anything really. I guess I was just, I was blessed with hardworking spirit and talent for cooking. So, I guess that's where I started. But other than that, I came from my times where my resources weren't as bountiful as they are now. And so it's very easy to just say, oh, like, look where you are, look around you, look what you have, look what you've accomplished, and look back at to where you were, and how can that not make you happy? Because I didn't come from much. I never had much. And so I just look back. You just gotta look back and go, wow, sick. And then you just keep moving and you keep pushing forward.
Sick. I'm on TV. I'm a world famous chef. Sick. That is like so. This is your your personality and kind of like your story reminds me a lot of our former guest Karen Chi, who we talk about all the time. She's a comedy writer and she's also extremely positive. And when we were talking to her, one thing that I wanted to say about her and also you is that I think a lot of people look down on like positive energy or people that are like naturally positive. But to me, when I see someone like you and Karen, like that strength, that is like such strength to me. Because like I feel like it's really easy for anyone to just like wake up and be upset about, how the world is, and that's just kind of a natural state. And I feel like when I meet people like you, it's like I can tell that it's like you're pushing against that, to a certain degree, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I genuinely, it's not like I just wake up. Well, I kind of do just wake up, but anytime a negative thought, come across my mind, or if I encounter a hardship or an impediment to in my professional life or personal life, I try to look at that in a better light, and I try to put some sort of positive spin on it. Right. It's my grandfather getting diagnosed with prostate cancer, my that he's still around, but still dealing with it. And not a lot of people know that, but I deal with that by saying, okay, like I make his shrimp that he makes because I love it. I call him more often, and I've I have a better relationship now because of that. So, so it's like, I don't look, I mean, there's a lot of it that sucks about it, but at the same time, if I just sit here and concentrate on that, that's going to poison myself and everyone else around me. So let's flip it and say, okay, now you have a limited amount of time with him, make the most out of your time with him, call him more often, check in to see how he's doing. So that's like how I turn something that negative into something positive, or at least try.
Yeah. I mean,
It
like
sounds-
that's exact. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a muscle almost. Like it takes a lot of concerted effort and practice to engage in this sort of mindset. When did you make this breakthrough or this realization? Like, have you always been this way kind of, or did it happen like in your early 20s where you're like, damn, why am I being so apathetic and like negative minded and comparing myself?
I've definitely always been positive just in general, because I think my naivete has allowed me to just look past the positive, the negative things, and be like, I didn't even see that. I only saw all the good stuff that was happening. But yeah, I guess looking back, this thing fucking sucks. But it's just,
oh yeah.
But I just chose to see the good, and I think that's something I've been born with. And then also, this definitely helped. I think it was like 6-ish years ago, somewhere, give or take a year. I remember I walked into a room, and I could tell that like I annoyed everyone in there. Like I walked in and my positivity, my energy, it was just too much, and I'm fully aware that I can be too much. I can be too loud, too positive, too in your face, too much energy, and just you're like some people are just like, yo, you're okay, you're cool, but just get the fuck away from me right now, please. Like, or if I hop in, people are like, this guy's super cocky and he thinks the world revolves around him. Fuck that guy. So like, but either whenever I experienced this, I remember there was like a breakthrough and a literal light bulb moment. I said, you're gonna walk into so many more rooms like this, and I told this to myself, and I believe this, and it's when I went from thinking it to truly believing it. I said, you're going to walk into so many different rooms, and so many people are going to hate you. And there's nothing that you can do. They're going to hate the way you look, the way you smile, the way you talk. They're going to hate what you're wearing. They're going to hate what you represent. And guess what? Who the fuck cares? And so and then literally, second I believed that, I went, oh, okay, that's pretty nice. Like I can just walk into a room and okay, well, this room, you know what? 5 people don't like me out of the 10. Sweet. Let's conquer the 5 people that do. This room, 2 people like me out of the 10.
Yeah.
Okay, then sure. But you 2 I'll concentrate on. But like, I truly, oh my God, I truly don't care what other people think to me when I walk into a new room. And I think that has helped me also stay positive.
Yeah, I think you hear that. You hear people say, oh, you have to like not care what people think of you, blah, blah, blah. But I think when that actually clicks in your head, you're like, oh, like that for it to click, it takes a long time, I think. But,
wow. That's so, I've heard that before, and I'm really glad to hear it again, because I get 2 in my head. And I thought it would get better with age, like just not caring about what other people think about me, but that it really doesn't go away. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes I meet people who are like overly positive, and I would probably be a hater and be like, this guy is just so happy and so positive. But the truth of it is it comes from a place of jealousy, because I wish I could be like that, and it takes a lot of effort. But, it's nice to know that even coming from you, where it is so genuine, that it takes practice, and it does take effort, and it's something that is attainable for anyone, really. Cause
it's attainable. It didn't happen right away, and I always thought it, and I didn't believe it. Like literally, it was just like, oh yeah, just like not care what people think, and the whole time, care what people think all the time. But but it just clicks, and it just you're just like, clicks. You know what? I really don't care. I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna do it well. I'm gonna do it with integrity. I'm gonna do it with effort and passion and love and care. Yeah. And people are gonna hate that, and so who cares? Just keep going.
Because they can't do the same. Can I just say something about what you said about you know that you're too much for people? that I feel like I recently have a lot of feelings like that, and it was like a similar situation where one day it clicked, but I was like, oh, I'm too much for people because I'm really loud and I'm like kind of like I make dirty jokes and I'm like inappropriate sometimes. But I think in therapy I went through this thing where the therapist was like, yeah, but like what do you think about those traits? And I was like, I love those traits about me. I think those are my favorite traits. And she was like, so I think that's what helped me make it click. Like, why do you care if those people don't like that? Because you like that, and so you're being yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Painful
Absolutely.
feeling.
Though. Yeah. When you, think you feel like you're too much, it's like, it's a bad feeling.
Right.
I mean,
right.
it absolutely is, and
Yeah.
but it's like I don't know. My whole life, I've definitely tried to take any sort of like trial or tribulation and like I said, flip it, but not just flip it, but also kind of stew in it a little bit. Like when I've gotten fired from jobs before, or I've gotten reamed out by bosses, or something like that happens. I kind of I let myself sit in it and just like, hey, do you feel this? Do you like it? No? Okay, sit in it a little bit longer so it really sticks with you, and then be like, all right, let's not make this happen again. So I kind of like make myself live it, whatever it is. Yeah.
Gotta power through. You can't, because people like try to like distract themselves from bad feelings, but that's like really good advice. Just gotta stew in it, then you get out of it.
Like it's a bad feeling for a reason. So like
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to understand why it's bad and why you feel bad in that scenario. Once you realize it, then you can move forward. You can't just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Right.
That's such good advice.
Jordan, so you said that you like to approach your work with integrity and just basically passion and love, and all of this shines through in your work as a chef. And you've stated that your goal is to be the first Filipino chef with 1 Michelin star, just 1, in Filipino cuisine. Why do you think this doesn't exist in the world yet?
Oh, I love that question. I love it. Okay, so, Filipino food hasn't gotten pretty much very little worldwide culinary recognition because it's so foreign to people and it's so hard to pinpoint and define that the classic ways of defining a successful cuisine, or one that gastronomics all around the world want to come and visit or try or replicate, is because it's so different, and it's such an amalgamation of different cuisines that you can't pigeonhole it into one sort of critique, because it might cross boundaries or use ingredients or overlap. And so are you representing it right, even if you do? So that's one reason. And then the second reason is because it's misunderstood, and also potentially misunderstood and poorly executed. So an example would be like diniguan, right? So diniguan is a pork blood stew, typically made with onions, pork blood, ginger. Sometimes pork belly is put into it. Definitely heavy amounts of garlic. Sometimes people cream it out with coconut milk, and or just like stock, and then kind of reduce it down. And then the gaminess of the blood goes from dark red, brown to like black, like a pure black, right?
Oh wow!
Like it's not necessarily the most like, hey, what are you eating? Oh, I'm eating diniguan. Oh, that sounds nice. What is it? And you taste it. It tastes pretty good. But then you go, it's actually pork blood soup, like blood of the pork, right? Like how you're talking about Michelin stars, like this was created out of a system and out of a cuisine that technically started fine dining and only respects the best parts of any sort of animal, right? And so how does that sort of style and guide, it never was made to celebrate pork blood or intestines, right? Or eyeball.
I mean the thing, yeah, right.
And I think that's, and like, those two reasons are the reason I think why Filipino cuisine hasn't had its limelight yet.
So there is no chef or restaurant that has a Michelin star for any Filipino cuisine in the entire world?
Well,
just in the States?
Okay, the one thing I don't know, there might be a Filipino chef with a Michelin star.
Right.
Whatever cuisine, there might be
another
Filipino
cuisine.
Filipino who's doing French food in Germany, or even German upscale German food in Germany, or Nordic cuisine.
Right.
So that I don't know, but I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist either.
Yeah.
I do know that
Right.
I do know that there are pastry chefs that are Filipino that have helped earn a star. That I know for a
Right.
fact.
Wow.
Right.
But I can definitively tell you, there's not one Filipino restaurant in the world that has any star.
Wow. That's insane. Well, so Jordan, I have so many thoughts with the Michelin star. I think that it is, like, it is sort of, I respect it, and I respect everyone that, that has one, that the places that I've been to, and I understand the amount of work that it takes and stuff like that. But I always think it's so problematic that there are so few in Asia. Like, I think there was, when I went to China, it was like less than 10 years ago, and there was maybe one dim sum place in Hong Kong that had it. I don't know if you remember. It was like, and people were talking about it. They're like, this is unfair, like how they judge food is like based on this like different culture. And of course they would understand like Filipino cuisine, because how would like a 70-year-old man from France understand, like pork blood soup?
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, I have so many feelings about it, but obviously I really want you to win one. Mostly I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, but I will say I don't know the exact number, but I do know it's more balanced. I will say, like, now between like in Kyoto, in Tokyo, in Thailand, in all areas of China, India, I do know that the Michelin Guide has come out and has definitely recognized with stars. And I think, I don't know this is true, but I believe Japan as a country has more stars than anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Country,
like,
including the US and France.
Right. That's
I think.
awesome. Yeah, stepping it up. They're watching us. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Michelin star
I don't
being woke.
have right, like I don't have any experience as listeners, as you all know, because Youngmi deservedly so ripped me to shreds for giving someone a
tell
hard
Jordan the
time
story?
at a restaurant. No.
Jordan, I'm going to tell
What's
you the
the story?
story.
Yeah, I wanna
The
know the story.
restaurant, the story that will hurt all restaurant people who've ever worked in a restaurant. I went to lunch with Brian, and like he asked the host for a table, and she was like, it's going to be a 30-minute wait. And he was like, well, why can't I just sit at that open table? I was like, I'm not with him. Oh my God.
What did the host?
Are you dying? She was like,
The host said it was reserved. it was reserved, and
then Brian, how did you feel about that?
I was upset. And Youngmi was embarrassed to be with
I was
me.
like, I was literally like, should I? I'm like, I'm standing far enough away that I can pretend that this is like we're not together. I'm like, oh, I don't know who this is.
Right.
Just kidding.
No, but I just wanted to say that as someone who this is like, I don't have any experience in the restaurant industry. This is purely my opinion as someone who is an outsider. My whole opinions on just like the Michelin star system at large has just changed as I've gotten older, because, when I was in my young 20s and considered myself as like a quote unquote foodie and I liked going to nice restaurants, the system itself just seems it just seems imperfect, because just because a restaurant doesn't have a Michelin star, it does not mean that it doesn't serve amazing food. You won't get great service. You won't have quality, because the Michelin system itself, let's be real, it was founded by these like old French white people, and they have their implicit biases. They're going to judge and have certain opinions about certain cuisines, whether it's classy enough or it's too low class, and it just seems like flawed. And I'm wondering, like, is there rumblings of a shakeup happening? Have they become more inclusive with time? Like, I don't know, like I totally get it. I'm like that too. Like I play certain sports, and there are medallions or like prizes that everyone wants because there's just so much prestige to it. Like, everyone wants an Oscar if you're an actor, but yet everyone knows the Hollywood industrial complex isn't without its faults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
So
It's the same thing. It's same thing for Michelin stars.
Yeah.
I'm not dialed in as much as I used to be, honestly. However,
Right.
from what I understand, what I've read, what I hear from all of my chef friends, it has become more inclusive. It's become a little bit more. It's become more colored in terms of the people who work there. And I changed my mind on Filipino cuisine with a Michelin star because I didn't know if it would ever get the respect when the hawker cart or hawker street food in Singapore got a star. When that got a star, that's when I rearranged my life goal, because if that got a star, I went, okay, Filipino food can get one then.
Yeah.
Before that I didn't know. And I thought what you guys thought, but I'm like, okay, well, if they're recognizing this amazing hawker food that is not typical, it's not even a typical restaurant. One could even consider it not a restaurant because it doesn't have like truly designated seating. You still got a star. Like, okay, so then you appreciate good food. So now let's try to pursue it. So I definitely understand where it comes from. I think it might be a little outdated, but at the same time, I also could be completely wrong in trying to see it in a more positive view.
Right.
I don't think you're wrong. I think it's definitely becoming way more inclusive, and I think it's in part because of dialogues like this. Like people are just saying, "Hey, this is kind of weird," and then like exactly what you said. There's so many in Asian countries and countries all over the world now. So that's like it's very inspiring to see that. It's hopeful.
Yeah.
Right. Jordan, what are some of the worst culinary mistakes you've ever made, and what have you learned from them? We're trying to get some negativity out of you.
Why can't you be negative, Jordan?
Oh no, I can be. Oh my God, I can be so negative. I can be negative, aggressive, mean, angry, intense.
Yes,
harsh.
we like that here.
Yeah. I can do all of that. I can definitely do that. One time, I was working at the French Laundry, and at the time, it just came off being the best restaurant in the world at the time, and when I was there, they, their juices, you have to make every juice, whatever you're using, from scratch. So red pepper juice, you just cut up a red pepper, take away the ribs, take away the seeds, the top, throw it in there, you yield your red pepper juice. Then they have this juicer. It's like a nice little compact machine, like this big, like this thick, it's like this high, like it's like a nice, like, but you can tell it's like expensive, industrial. It doesn't look the best, but it's expensive, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And so, you can juice carrots, you can juice beets, you can juice cucumbers, obviously, you can juice, stuff that have high water retention, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I was juicing beets, and a beet got stuck, like in the part where it goes down to get juice. And you normally have a press that you press all the way down.
Right.
So I pressed it with the plunger, and it like clogged. So I turned it off.
Yeah.
And then stuck a fork in there to try to get it out. I couldn't get my finger all the way down to get like.
Oh, this makes me so on edge.
So as I'm getting the fork and I'm diving down into the hole that the plunger would go to, somehow I don't even know how it happened. The machine turned back on.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
And the machine ate the fork. Like it went in and then on, and it dove down, and then all you hear is and it's like this, and then smoke, and I'm like,
oh God.
And I'm looking around, and I'm like new. I've only been in French Laundry for a month now.
Oh my God.
I'm at the best restaurant in the world. I'm like, okay, this is it. See everyone, have a nice life. And I was like, this is the scariest thing I've ever like experienced, because like people heard it and saw it, but like I have to own this mistake.
Right.
The CDP Chef de Partie comes over, and he goes, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm just like, "I'm sorry, chef. I just made a mistake. I got nothing." And then he goes, and he doesn't even yell at me. He doesn't swear at me. He doesn't fire me. He just has this look of just pitiful disdain and nothingness. Like, you are nothing. You'll never amount to nothing. And he looks at me. He's looking through me. He's just like,
Wow.
Wow.
Like,
That sounds
you're not even worth my time to get angry. Like, that's how insignificant you are.
That is way scarier.
Yeah, he was so much scary. He goes, go to the shed and get a new one. And I was like, you have another one just parked back there?
Yeah.
I'm like, these are like $5,000 machines. Yeah, and they're just like, go get another one. I was like, I go over it. There's two sitting in this equipment shed. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
okay, it's not that big of a deal, but like it is obvious for obvious reasons. And also keep in mind, I'm not getting paid at this point. So
Oh my
like
God.
I just broke a $5,000 machine, and I like and I'm a free like
right.
there's like no way that they can.
Oh my god.
So that was one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had. I was so ashamed. I was so scared. I thought for sure I was gonna get fired. And yeah, that's one time I was just terrible.
That chef person sounds like they're Asian. That's how like your Asian parents get mad at you. They're like they don't even say anything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I'm dead.
I hope he's listening to this. His name is Chef Kong. And
Oh, he what?
yeah.
Wow.
I knew it. I was like, that sounds like some Asian ass. You know when they're just like so mad they don't say anything. I knew it. Oh my god, Jordan, I was so scared. I thought you were gonna say the fork flew into your face. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Oh no.
Or like your hand
The
went in.
fork. It is.
Or your hand
God.
went in.
Oh my god.
So anyway,
That's
that
so-
was just, I'll never forget that happening, and it was so embarrassing, humiliating, and I live with that kind of that feeling even now.
That sounds like the nicest way that could have gone though, because I feel like just hearing the horror stories from chefs, like throwing pans and stuff, that's like it could have been way worse. Oh my
Well, I mean-
gosh. Chef Kong.
I've almost burned down kitchens before. I've had plates heated up in ovens at 500 degrees, put it on the pass, and they're like, Jordan, grab this. And I was like, okay, grabbed it without a towel, and they're like, and then I dropped it, it breaks, and they're like, I told you to never grab a plate without a fucking towel. And I'm like, sorry, chef. And then my hands burnt. So yeah, there's a lot of that happens, but I'm not gonna name names nor restaurants, but all of that other stuff has happened. This one I picked because of the gravity of working at a restaurant like that. And
Right.
Right.
Yeah, me
And the other stuff you just repressed deep down.
You're like, I just
Well,
want to know.
like, very
I'm positive. I mean, no, again though, like
happy.
I'm happy. I don't remember anything. No, that's what I'm talking about. The strength thing. It's like because other people will work in those environments and they'll become like bitter and like professional chefs that are bitter and mean and stuff. And you're out here just like smiling and you would never expect to hear of all the layers of all the hardship that you talked about already. But wait, so we saw your video online where you were like cooking for the Kardashians, or it wasn't a video, it was just like a little interview. What was like what have you like cooked for a lot of like celebrities, or like do you have like a fun celebrity story?
Yeah, I've cooked for. It's weird because I haven't like added up the celebrities that I have cooked for, but
Yeah.
when I get asked a question similar to this, like it kind of makes me go through it, and I'm like, oh, like I've definitely cooked for celebrities that I completely forgot about. Not because they were forgettable. I'm trying to repress it. I'm just so busy, like hang on. I got to move forward. I'm like, hey, that was so much fun. Thanks. All right, I got to move on to the next one. I really appreciate it. Like, this reference. But and so like, yeah. So I've done cooked for celebrities. I've cooked for powerful people, ranging from Neil Patrick Harris to Kyrie Irving to the Kardashians to Jaden Smith, Willow Smith
Wow.
to the Lauders to Ashanti. Like take your
Wow, Ashanti.
Now,
I'm so jealous.
Without naming any names, have there been any unusual requests though? Like, I only eat my cornflakes with blue Gatorade or something.
So get this, it's not the celebrities. It's actually not the celebrities that give the craziest requests. In fact, I can honestly say I've never had a crazy request ever from a celebrity.
Wow.
And Kardashians eat everything and anything. It's amazing. There's the kindest, nicest, most amazing, beautiful fucking humans in the world. And I find myself defending them all the time because a lot of people talk shit. And I spent time on camera, off camera with them behind the scenes in their home. And I'm like, y'all are great. Why the fuck do people give you shit? You are very cool and nice and respectful humans. Like, anyway.
There's lots of layers there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I will say that it's the super rich. They are the ones super rich. Like my worst encounters have been with billionaires.
Wow.
Whoa.
And the billionaires are the ones that just have ridiculous standards, like more than the French Laundry or ridiculous requests.
I have a theory about this. Do you want to hear my theory?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
What's your theory?
You know, like when you meet like super rich people, like in New York, you just see them walking around, you know? And they're so rude. They're like super rude. But like, you know, when you meet a celebrity, and the celebrities are also super rich, right? They're always so nice. And my theory is because if you're let's say you're a billionaire, most billionaires, we have no idea what they look like. We know like Jeff Bezos. But like, let's say you're a billionaire and nobody knows who you are. So wherever you go, there's not respecting you at a level that you think that you should receive. Whereas if you're a celebrity, we know who they are. So we like treat them really nice, right? So I feel like that's why rich people are so mean, because they feel like they're not being like recognized or something.
Interesting.
That's my theory. It might be wrong. I don't really know any rich people, Jordan. I've never met a billionaire, so I've just seen them on the street.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I wanna.
That's just my.
I feel like public recognition and fame is a negative. I think most billionaires like being private, and they like not being seen or recognized.
Right, but like let's say you come into a restaurant and you're Beyonce. They're gonna be like, it's Beyonce's table, whatever you want, like best table in the house, whatever. But let's say you're like some random just billionaire guy that no one knows who you are, and they're just treating you like nobody. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's my theory. It's
no, it's valid. I'm not saying it's wrong. We could, listeners, if you know exactly why, feel free to DM us. My theory is that in order to be a billionaire, by society's standards, like, you have quote unquote succeeded in life. You've beat the game. You have so much money that why would then at that point you wouldn't really have to question yourself or your worldview. You're like, clearly what I'm doing is right. I have this much fucking money. So I feel like they must be very particular about everything, like down to, this is the brand t-shirt that I wear. This is the type of salt that I'm only going to put on my food, because it's done me well this far. I have beat life. So why would I change anything about this? So I feel like that would be really strangely demanding and like really detail oriented for that reason, because everything like leading up to them being a billionaire, it's like it's helped them to get to that point.
I think I have to agree with Brian on this one. If I had to pick.
Wow, Jordan.
Wow.
Well, I was gonna say no, it's okay. I was gonna say, Jordan, do you want to hear our theories from two people who've never met a rich person? I've never even seen one. What's your do you have a theory, Jordan, on why they're so rude, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's closer to Brian's. I think that they are just they're so used to things going their way.
Yeah.
That if it doesn't, they have no tolerance or even a shred of patience for it. Because now going deeper into what Brian was saying, it's like the choices that they've made have been typically more than right, so right that it earns them billions. So
yeah,
right.
So they don't have patience. So they're just like, if I say it this way, do it. And do you need some confirmation? It's because I'm a fucking billionaire. So it's like,
yeah.
So I think what they asked me certain things and to do certain and like cook certain foods or only use yellow tomatoes for a gazpacho or what have you, because they're like, if I want it this way, this is what's gonna be, or I could pay someone else to do it. And I think that kind of money poisons people. And I think that, and I also think that not all, but like certain people that have gotten to that point of wealth, they weren't prepared for that kind of responsibility in the first place. They just had some sort of ingenuity or genius breakthrough that got them there, but they were never prepared for all the other things, all the other positive ramifications that came with it.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's such a good point.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
So it's like
you said I'm like a celebrity or well known. Like, I can tell you confidently that I'm not, and that also that when I wake up every day, I'm not like, oh, okay, celebrity Jordan's waking up. Like, I don't even do that. So, and I'm not, but I'm not at all prepared for what's going on in my life right now.
Right.
With all the opportunities, the TV shows, the multiple restaurants, the people that I'm meeting, the circles that I'm sitting in, so on and so forth.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Like there's no book for this shit. Like, but I would love to, like, how to read or how to understand how to deal with things that typically don't come to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'll be flipping through
You know-
the book every day.
Jordan, I love it when people do that what you just did, when you see somebody and you're like, why are they like this? And then you're like, well, I'm like this and I can kind of relate to that. Like, I feel like that's like such good like self introspection, you know what I mean? And I think you're onto something. It must be
Totally.
shocking.
That's
to
such a
just
good point.
have $1 billion. Just like, I have
Right.
$1 billion. Like, I would
I
kind of
mean,
go crazy.
it's like the founders of Snapchat. It was
Mm.
founded by these like frat bros in Stanford, and they want to create an app to get nudes. And then they're like, "Oh shit! Now we're billionaires," and everyone loves the app.
Whoopsie.
And one of them ended up marrying and having a family with my old middle school crush, and yeah, like it's so funny. Like, and it's so funny because this girl dated
good for her.
3 of my friends in our friend group, and then one of my best friends then like broke up with her, and then she then found him, the
No.
on the Snapchat, and who's by the way Filipino. He's half Filipino, and
Wow.
so now we just send pictures to this dude being like, this is what his name's Pat. This is what you call an upgrade. She dropped your ass and upgraded.
Aww. He's like,
We're
thanks,
like,
guys.
we're glad, we're happy for her, bro,
Yeah.
because her life would have been way different if she stayed with you.
Not different.
sweet.
Worse. It would have been
Yeah,
worse.
we have
sucked. Oh my
that's
god,
great.
that's so funny. Well, it doesn't matter if he's half Filipino because you're gonna be the first Filipino chef with a Michelin star. Who cares?
Yeah.
Then who's gonna be
Baby.
laughing, huh? Then who's gonna be laughing now?
Okay, so Jordan, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this far, but we want to leave you with this last question that we like to ask
Wait,
all of our
leave?
guests.
Oh man, I mean, like, yeah, I have a little bit more time. I'm having fun with my point, so you don't feel like you have to.
Oh
Wow.
yes, Jordan likes us, Brian. Woo! I get so excited when people like talking to us. Sometimes I feel like the guests come and they're like, I'm going to go now. Goodbye. And I'm like, no.
We wanted to ask you this question regardless. And our question is, what is something that you're proud of?
Oh wow. Like, does it have to be like a specific physical thing? Is it an opportunity? Is something that's happened? I don't know. What's like? I don't.
As long
The
as
only
it's something about
requirement-
you.
Yeah, you have to center yourself. What is something that you are proud of, you personally, about something, anything at all?
I'm proud of Flip Siggy. It's easy because this restaurant, what it has done for my life, people around me, the employees, my partners, and above all of that, Filipino cuisine. It's been life-changing, life-altering, and I couldn't be more proud of of saying the statement, yes, I've had a restaurant in New York City for 6 years. Or the other statement, yeah, come to my restaurant. It's in the West Village in Manhattan on 7th Avenue. Like, that is like what? How can you not fucking be happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, that right there. You know how hard that is? 60% of restaurants fail within the first year. 80% of restaurants fail within the first 3 years. 100% of restaurants don't make it to 5 years. That's like this is an actual statistic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now I get to say, I've had a restaurant in New York City, the hardest place to own a restaurant, on 7th Avenue. So yeah, like that's why I'm happy. That's why I'm positive, because that statement alone trumps everything else bad that could happen in my professional life.
Yeah.
I could lose every endorsement, every TV show, every opportunity, and keep that. And I'd be like, cool, like sick.
Yeah,
So much fun. Like nothing, you know what I'm saying? And so everything else, a cherry, then another cherry, and then another cherry, and some whipped cream and some cherry. But like, it's like the sundae is there, and that amazing dessert is right there. And it is that I get to bite into the sweet, proud victory of having a restaurant in New York. And that's why I'm proud of what I'm proud about.
That is such an accomplishment. Like, the statistics that you said, I mean, I don't know if people understand, how intense that is. Most restaurants just don't make it. And, living in New York, you see these like restaurants that go under, it's like that's somebody's like dream, you know,
Yes,
and
like,
that's
makes
like
you
makes
sad.
you sad. And
For you to
Yeah.
make it,
that means exceptional.
And
Okay, well,
Yeah.
the thing about Flip Siggy is the reason that I found out about you is because I went to the restaurant. I was in the neighborhood in the morning, and there was nothing available for breakfast delivery that wasn't bagels. And as an Asian person, we fuck with bagels sometimes, but most of the time we don't want this 90 ounces of cream cheese on a no. We're Asian, okay? We're Asian. We will have diarrhea. So I was like starving, getting my hair done at like 9 a.m. and I was like, I need Asian food. And I saw your restaurant and I got like the rice and the Spam and I was like, yeah, like eating it in the salon, like I win. It was the best breakfast I've ever had, and I just want to thank you for opening your restaurant so early.
Of course. Well, no, thank you for supporting it. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you had it.
It was so good, Brian.
Yeah, and like you said, Jordan, those statistics are insane. And
Yeah.
I said this up top at the podcast, but truly, I think your passion for what you do and it just overflows with so much love, and I think it's really aspirational because for you to have done anything, like to show up every day to keep something running for 6 years, regardless of what industry it's in, it's a hard thing to do. And I still feel like the love that you have for this project, like it's like the same amount that you probably had from day one. And that's something that's like, oh, young me, we have a new goal for our podcast 6 years from now.
We're gonna love it more.
I literally love it more because because of that, because of my appreciation and how proud I am for it, I love it more.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I love it. And one last question that I want to ask you is, when it comes to Filipino cuisine, see, my Vietnamese friend told me recently, he was like, yo, when next time you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, don't get the pho. Get the bum bo hei. Do what's right. You're past that stage, okay? Now, for our listeners who are going to go to a Filipino restaurant, what is like an underrated dish that you recommend to all of us?
Don't get the adobo. Get the.
Okay, got it. So, for everyone, hi everyone. My name is Jordan Andino, New York chef restaurateur. And if you're going to be going to a Filipino restaurant near you, don't get the adobo. Get the sinigang. Sinigang is a typically tamarind sour soup made with a lot of different types of vegetables, typically shrimp and or short rib, served in a very light fumet broth type, served over jasmine rice. So you can either make it like a rice porridge or just have a little bit of specks of jasmine rice in it. It soaks it up. It gives you sour. It gives you salt. It gives you a hint of sweet. And then if you put like taro or potato in it acts as like a creamer that kind of binds everything together and rounds out all the.
Wow, my God.
That is my favorite Filipino dish. It's my favorite. Thank you so much. That's my favorite. And I'll tell you.
So excited to try
I will tell you
though.
something. Jordan, I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid, but you know the Knorr sinigang like powder packet? You put, Jordan, tell me if you did this.
He's going to his pantry right now.
He's going to show us. This is what you do, and I want Jordan to vouch.
Wait, where is it? No.
Oh my God, they're going to judge you, Jordan.
They're going to judge me. It's right here. No. It's normally right here. Wait.
Oh my God. Ranch. You ate not ranch. It was ranch.
No. Oh my God, guys, I'm
poser.
Right, I'm so ashamed.
Are you even Filipino? Were you lying?
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
That's some fighting words.
That's the last one.
Wow.
I have the Knorr. I normally have the Knorr.
Okay, Jordan. So have you ever done this? Take the Knorr package and add a packet of grape Kool-Aid without sugar, and then eat it like that. Have you done that? That's what we used to eat all the time as kids.
This is the most negativity we've gotten from Jordan on this episode.
I will send it to you, and you have to eat it. And then you eat it with pickled papaya or raw green papaya. Green papaya. Raw.
Okay, green papaya is right.
Unripe.
So so you said that for sinigang specifically.
Yes.
So you make it as normal with whatever.
No, I don't make it. I just open the packet of the powder and I put Kool-Aid in it and then I lick it with my fingers as a powder, as a snack.
So it's mixed. So it's a tamarind with the Kool-Aid mix, and you
Yes.
just put your finger in and eat that.
Yes, it's so good.
Ooh.
This is
So
what
it's
we.
like fun. It's like Fun Dip, but better.
We used to eat that when I was a kid. We were so addicted to it.
She's absolutely right.
No, I'm not saying it's a Filipino. So I know it's not a Filipino thing, but I guess that's just the me thing. Now I feel weird. I was like, right, Jordan? Everyone does that, right, Jordan?
Totally.
All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go.
Great.
All right, I'm gonna go now.
Oh my god.
I love that. I love how good that sounds. That sounds so good.
I'm gonna make it for you, and you're gonna like it. I'm gonna send it.
I'm joking. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna go live with it, and I'm gonna be.
Yes.
So Young Me, she told me that to do these two things. I'm gonna pour it and then just go live and go.
Yeah. Yes. And you're
And,
gonna like it.
and I'll give you the reaction, the true reaction.
Yeah. And you put the unripe mango and unripe papaya and dip it.
Yeah, that's the dip. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Okay. I'm going to
Beautiful.
stop.
Jordan, that's our podcast. Before you leave, where can our listeners find you and your work?
All right. Wow. So you can find my work in the West Village on 7th and West 10th. It's called Flipsigi. It's a Filipino taqueria. It's like fast casual, super fun Filipino food, good take on it. So you can try it there. But if you're in Jersey, you can actually go to my Jersey City location, which will be opening in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Let's go.
It's right in between Jersey City, like the Grove Street stop, and then the Journal Square stop. And then if you're going to happen to be in Chelsea in 3.5 months, you can also go to my Flipsigi there, which will be opening in November 1st.
What?
Whoa!
Wow.
And then you can also go to another restaurant that I hope to be opening in a month in the West Village as well. But that one I'm going to keep under wraps a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And you can also find me on the Food Network. As a host and a judge, and also Cooking with Selena Gomez on HBO Max.
That's so. Have you heard of HBO?
That's amazing.
Have you guys heard of HBO? Yeah, it's pretty big time.
Listeners, Jordan is the busiest man in America, and he did our podcast just right now.
Yeah.
Wait, guys. No, wait. We were talking about busyness. I need you guys to see something. This is
Yeah.
and these are my days. So each square, right, is a different.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm getting anxiety.
Oh my god.
Oh my-
Jordan, don't. Stop.
Stop.
What are those
What is
long
going
chunks? What are those long ones?
What is Jordan? No.
What are those long ones? Those are stressing me out. It's
Okay,
like
I
90
see-
hours.
I see.
This
Cook
is nuts.
for Billionaire.
It's hurting
and
me.
On yacht
I saw-
in Dubai.
I saw Kim Kardashian's phone number just now. I'm just kidding. All right. And where can they find you on social media?
On social media, find me on Twitter and Instagram at @fork_knife, and then TikTok and Facebook Chef Jordan Andino.
Awesome. How about you, Brian?
Awesome.
Where can our listeners find you on social media?
You guys can find me on socials at It's Brian Park. And what about you, Young Me?
YM Mayor and then Young Me Mayor on TikTok. And our podcast page is Feeling Asian Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/feelingasian.
And
I think that's it.
That's it, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.